I'm Jammer, and you know what? A lot is going on with the Smash community right now. Just last week, I mean, maybe even barely a week ago, the hero from Dragon Quest has released as the next DLC character for Smash Bros. Ultimate right before Evo weekend. Yep, that was a smart move right there, Nintendo. Just kind of slide him in right there, just to kind of throw off the entire meta for probably the biggest fighting tournament of the year. Why not? Let's just see what happens. It's kind of a trend that newcomers come to Smash, DLC characters come to Smash, and people immediately say they're broken. Great example being Joker. I mean, yes, he is a pretty good character, and yes, he actually plays fairly well in Evo as well. But then when people saw the amount of projectiles and magical abilities that this new hero has, now people have had a chance to play him, see what he's like, get a feel for him, and yeah, you know what? He's starting to turn out to be a pretty solid character. Except for that down B move. As you know, the hero's down B lets him go through a list of randomly selected spells, for which whatever you can choose, whatever randomly appears, and you can kind of cast it. Sometimes they're projectiles, sometimes they're melee attacks right in front of you, sometimes they're status effects to you. Each move costs a different amount of magic, and there's a little bit of a randomness to which one comes up on your list. Seems fair enough. The thing is, the competitive Smash community really isn't a fan of the randomness of stuff, as you all know. Most stages that are played on are completely neutral or as neutral as possible. In addition to things like items and final Smash meters are not turned on. So it's really just about the player versus the player and the amount of skill they have with each player. So when a character has a built-in tool into their moveset that just applies a completely random attack whenever it wants, it obviously, you know, it causes a bit of trouble. But the thing is, that's nothing new to Super Smash Bros. There are actually a good amount of other characters that also have RNG-based mechanics around their moves. For example, Game & Watch's Little Hammer. The 9 is essentially a home run bat. You can kill quite early, but of course there's a randomness to it. Sometimes you'll get 1 and it'll do nothing. Sometimes you get 3 through 5 and does a little bit of damage or it does a status effect. Another example is Luigi's side B, his misfire. Every so often there's a % chance that when you're activating side B and not holding it down, you'll actually get not only the full distance, but an insane amount of damage and knockback. So you see these random moves, you think, oh, why aren't these characters banned? Why is everyone saying we should ban Hero? Well, there's one other thing I forgot to mention. In the list of hero spells, there's a spell called Hocus Pocus. And that spell essentially, well, does anything, really. Hocus Pocus just applies a random effect, whether it be one of your projectile magic attacks from the regular spell list, one of the melee attacks from your spell list. It's not all buffs for the player. It can actually apply debuffs as well, such as slowing down time, inflicting you with a poison status effect. But the biggest one that is the most controversial is the fact that it can spawn in the status effect of items that are in Smash Bros. Some examples include the Super Mushroom, which makes your character grow big, as well as, I believe, the Invincibility Star. So in competitive scene, you know, there's a reason those items are turned off, because it gives an unfair advantage to the player. When in Super Mushroom mode, you take nearly less knockback, and the majority of your moves do not only crazy damage, but also a lot of knockback as well, making you kind of just a giant force of hitboxes just to be able to rush the player. In addition to invincibility, I mean, you're invincible. You take all the risks you want, throw out any move. All you have to do is just chase down the player. They can't punish you no matter what. And one thing I failed to mention, on top of all this drama about the down B, he has the option to completely critical hit randomly during any attack, any of his Smash attacks, whenever, just on by chance, which can kill ridiculously early. You could kill characters at 30 sometimes. So that's just another bit of randomness that this character has that, you know, fans are like a little iffy about. So that's the situation. His spell list can either apply such amazing attacks, can combo into itself sometimes, or give you straight up items. Straight up items. So Hero does pose an interesting problem, and it's crazy to think that we're only a week in and the competitive scene already ready to ban this character, straight up. I mean, we've had this character a week, guys. 1 week. That's like breaking fighting game history. I don't think any character that's ever released in a fighting game as a DLC fighter or whatever has ever been banned or been wanted to be banned for so quickly. If you look in the past at other characters that were perceived as very overpowered in Smash history, I mean, when Cloud came out, ridiculous, in addition to also Bayonetta, which both characters eventually did get nerfed, but they still ended up being some of the better characters in the game. But even besides that, they were still allowed in competitive play, even though, yes, they were really great characters, they were dominating the scene, but they were still fair. It really comes down to that random effect of it, where it's just up to luck to the player. It's really just up to luck. It's not up to the skill of the player to memorize combos, to have the advantage over other players. It's really up to just by chance. If you click that down B, hope and pray and see what happens. So here's my kind of take on it. Hero, while yes, is a pretty good character, I personally feel like he's kind of just a mid-tier, maybe a higher mid-tier. If you play him, you know, kind of know what I'm talking about. As far as his movement goes, he's very bulky. He kind of is a little bit slower, especially in the air. He has to double jump to even get to the top platform nearly. In addition to a lot of his normals and aerials and tilts and everything, all have a lot of cooldown. He's got a lot of moves that really slow him down, and he isn't a quick, agile fighter. So I think the character does have a lot of drawbacks as it is. I mean, yes, he does have probably some of, if not the best specials in the entire game. The rest of his kit is kind of just, it's okay. I think in the hands of a really talented player, yes, he would definitely be a high tier character. For someone who's very talented at not only micromanaging the menu and quickly scanning through it and being able to pull out the exact magic moves they need at the exact time to get some crazy combos, oh yes, definitely he's going to be a higher tier character. But for really anyone that picks up and play him, I feel like he's kind of just middle of the road, maybe a little bit higher. Beyond that, kind of elaborating more on the down B, you know, just even trying to get the footage for this down B move over and over, just trying to get Hocus Pocus to actually show off some of these item effects. I only got one. I didn't even get the invincibility star. I only got the super mushroom once, and it took me over and over and over of constantly switching it. So I feel like it's being a little bit more exaggerated than it should be. The down B move, yes, has overpowered qualities, but it's not like it comes up every time. It's not like Hocus Pocus is on the list every single time with the 4, you know? It's hard to get Hocus Pocus sometimes. And then even when you get it, it might just be a regular spell. It might even hurt yourself more than anything. Within the small percent chance of even getting Hocus Pocus, there's even a smaller percent chance of you actually getting an infinite star or super mushroom or whatever. So I think because of that, it's still a pretty fair move. I mean, yes, he could definitely see some balance tweaks as the weeks go on, perhaps changing some of the percent values for how these moves work, in addition to other tweaks and whatnot to, you know, make him a more balanced, well-rounded character. Yes, the down B can apply some status effects that basically make you unkillable. But for as little as those actually show up, I don't know if it warrants an entire ban to the character. I mean, it's no Brawl Meta Knight where literally he could out-combo every single character in the game. His frame data beat everyone. His sword could eat projectiles, it could eat other attacks, and yet he wasn't even banned. He was banned temporarily, but then he was brought back. I mean, and if that can happen, I mean, obviously that was a while ago, but if that can happen in the Smash scene, it's kind of weird to think something like this with Hero would be banned instead. I think the best course of action going forward is just to kind of sit back and watch. Just let this competitive scene and players really experiment with the character, push him to the limits, and beyond that, watch what he does in tournament scenes. In the next month or so, if he starts winning, if that character is the winner of every single tournament, I mean, yes, then we probably have a problem on our hands. But right now, I mean, it's still, even at EVO, I mean, it still seems like a pretty diverse roster of people of characters in the top fighting brackets. So I think it's just kind of a wait and see game. Like I said, if in the next couple of weeks he just like totally breaks the game and is winning every single tournament, then yeah, it's time to address that. Whether it either means banning him or hopefully the development team takes some action and perhaps nerfs him somehow. I just don't think it's time to get up in arms and just slam the ban hammer immediately on this character before he's even really had a fighting chance to, you know, evolve into the meta. But what are your thoughts on Hero? Do you think he's just too busted and just should not be allowed to play in competitive scene? Or do you think it's too early to call it? Let me know your thoughts on this matter in the comments below. Be sure to get to do a big awesome like. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe for tons more on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Quick apology, sorry, no live stream in a little while now. It's just been kind of a busy mess over here on my end, but we will be doing that soon. We'll do a Heroes Only live stream, something like that, maybe this weekend. I will let you guys know via Twitter or on our Discord. The link is in the description. If you haven't already, definitely join that. It's a great place to meet friends to play Smash Bros with and other Nintendo stuff as well, yeah. Going forward to kind of something to look forward to, tomorrow I hope to have up my Fire Emblem 3 Houses video. It's going to be kind of a review, but like more laid back. It's not going to be as formalized as my reviews previously used to be in past years where it'd be like a full-blown script and all this stuff. It's going to be more of like a generalized idea of my feelings on the game, how I've been enjoying it. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what your guys' thoughts are on that game as well. I've been a little spoiler, but I've been having a lot more fun, you know, more fun than I expected, I will admit. Thanks again, guys, so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya! Thank you.